All right, so how to make a really good decision, a decision that is going to work out to your benefit and not to your detriment. And there is a simple formula that you can follow and it will work every single time. That's foolproof, I'm telling you. And this is an amazing technique that I learned from my Theta Healing coach, Nianell. And there is a link in the description that can take you to a page. You know, if you want to see more of the coaching that she does, she is an exceptional coach. I am divinely blessed to have Nianell as my coach. So you can check down below in the description. Welcome to this video. My name is Adrian Nelson. I'm a life transformation guide. I'm a Theta Healing practitioner. I'm very excited. And because I learned this, you know, in my Theta Healing coaching, I'm attributing it to the same coaching, and it's in the playlist for Theta Healing. So if you want to know more about Theta Healing or the benefits of it, the beautiful life transformation possibilities, check out the playlist on my YouTube channel that says Theta Healing. It's a lot of videos over there. Lots of helpful things that can help you and really just open your mind and open your perspective, you know. Even if you never have a healing session, it can really open your mind or help you to decide if this is for you, you know, in whatever capacity. Anyway, so as we go through life, inevitably, there's gonna come times when you're gonna have to make a decision. And a lot of times when we have to make a decision, we feel very sort of cornered. Okay, so I'm first going to explain to you the technique, how it works. And then I want to give you some, like a real life example from my own life in how I just panned out and how this really worked. And obviously you're more than welcome to leave some comments on, you know, how this worked out for you. You know, try it out, come back, let know how it works, share it with somebody else that needs it. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, be sure to subscribe, because my passion is about helping as many people as possible to live the best possible lives. It makes me excited. All right, so if you are interested in positive growth, if you are interested in living a really beautiful experience of life, then you want to subscribe to this channel and hit the all notifications. And for now, like the video. Okay, all right. So I want you to participate in this, you know, because typically if you look at this video, there would typically be something that you have to make a decision about. I think that's quite a fair bit for me to take that guess. Okay, so think about the decision that you need to make at this particular point in time. It doesn't matter what it is. All right, just the fact that you opening this video must mean that there's something that you need to decide about and you're not so sure which way to go. And at times like these, more often than not, we make the worst decision or the non-serving decision because, you know, we come from fear. And it's important to remember that the motivation behind your action will always determine the outcome. That is just how it is. That is how the human brain works. That's the human psyche. That's the way it is. Okay? So, think of something that you need to make a decision about. Think about it. All right, and this is going to be a little bit of, it's not like meditation or hypnosis or anything like that, but it's just a little bit teaching you how to tap into your mind, how to tap into your unlimited, you know, your unlimited psyche, your unlimited intelligence, so that you can actually make decisions that serve your life positively. All right, so think of a decision that you have to make. And then I want you to put it aside. So this is what I want you to do. I'm going to take a nice deep breath in. Close your eyes. So you want to be in a space where you can also close your eyes, and it's safe for you to do it. So close your eyes, take a nice deep breath. And imagine that you are drawing energy from the earth. Just drawing energy from the earth. Let it flow all the way through your body. And then imagine you're just taking your consciousness up to the creator. You know, the creator can be God, source, whatever name it is that you want to use. I like the term source of all. So you're just moving your consciousness up to the creator, to the source of all it is. Okay? Just think up, 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 up. Let your breath take you up. All right? We're not looking for the solution yet. We're placing ourselves in a space to make a best serving solution. Okay? So just think up, 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 up. Just light, 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 up, 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 up. Just feel the beautiful light of the Creator drawing you, almost like with open arms, welcoming you, thinking up. Let your breath take you up. Okay? And you will know that you are with the Creator when you feel peaceful, when you feel calm, and you will feel at ease. And when you think Creator, you are there. And then I want to take a nice deep breath in, gather the unconditional love of the Creator. And as you breathe out, let that light just flow, that unconditional love flow through the top of your head into your entire body, filling your entire body with light, filling your entire body with unconditional love, unconditional acceptance. And you will know when you are feeling the Creator, because the central message of the Creator will be, whatever you do and whatever you decide, you will be okay. So feel it in your heart. Okay? And you can just sit with that for a while. Okay? So just sit with it for a while until you really feel at peace and you feel your connection to everything and to the earth and to everything around you. And you might even imagine that the chair you sit on or the bed that you are on or whatever it is that you are on, that you're sort of like becoming one with it, because everything is just molecules. You are molecules, the chair, the bed, everything else is just molecules, just moving, vibrating at different rates, different speeds. Just become aware with your oneness with all. And when you are ready, you can just take in a nice deep breath, breathe out and open your eyes. So you can do that for as long as you need to do it. All right? Until you feel peaceful, until you feel calm. You always want to make a decision. This is very important. You always want to make a decision from a point of feeling calm. A lot of times we have the intention to make a decision that is going to bring us calm. But then what point are you coming from? So let's say you've got desperation, you feel overwhelmed, you feel sad, you feel without direction. So you decide, I'm going to make that decision because that decision, I think that's going to bring me peace. But if you don't come from peace, it's practically impossible to get peace. But if you come from peace, you'll get peace. Whatever intention you come from is what it's going to give you, because the motivation behind the action determines the outcome. Now, if you've ever taken probably any one of my online courses, and there's links for them in the description, then you will hear me say this, because it's true. And another thing to remember, and this is very, very powerful, that just because you don't see the solution doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Because if everything just is, then how can your solution not be? There are people out there that somehow things just work out for them. And there are people out there that somehow things are not working out for them. Which one are you? There is a reason for that. It is determined by your subconscious belief of who you are. So in Theta Healing, we really look at all 4 the different belief levels: core, genetic, history, and soul, to find out what are the key beliefs. What is the key belief that is driving everything else in your life? Because that ultimately determines your experience of life. You may have done a lot of healing in your life, but a lot of times we're only working on the core level. So only one of the 4 belief levels. And it doesn't matter how much healing you do and how much affirmation work you do and how much whatever you do from the best of intentions, if you only work with the core level, which most healing modalities do, just because, we don't always know better, then chances are you're kind of just going to end up disappointed. But if you work on all 4 the levels, then, it's really, really cool. So you can, when you connect with the Creator and your intention, you come from peace and you're filled with that unconditional love, chances are way more likely that you're going to work on all 4 the belief levels. Okay, you don't just come from the conscious mind, because now you're working with the higher source of creation. You're working with the source of pure light, the source of, being that wants you to do well, because we didn't come to this plane to suffer. Okay, so once you feel that, I want you to imagine what it feels like when you are in the space where the solution that you are seeking, the answer that you are seeking, that you have already achieved it, you've already attained it. So the problem that you have and the challenge that you have is already resolved in the highest and best way, like literally in the, with the you know, in the best possible way. Okay? In the truth and perspective of the Creator and all that is. In a really, really cool way. Better than you ever imagined. I want you to imagine what that feels like. Okay? So and use your imagination to your benefit. Even if you believe that you are not a visual person, you can see it with any one of your senses. So if you don't see well, you can imagine that you're smelling or sensing or a feeling, or you can just imagine it. Even if you can't visualize it, imagine it. Okay? Even if you think you're making it up, it's fine. We make up everything in any case. Nothing is real in any case. So you can just as well use it to your benefit. Imagine that unconditional love is flowing into your life, and allow yourself to envision that you are downloading from the source of all that is, from the source of all creation, in the truth and perspective of the highest good, that you are downloading that feeling of what it feels like when you have already made the right decision. You have already benefited from it. You have already experienced all the amazing things that go along with it. Don't think details. Think feeling. The mind speaks in feeling. Feeling is vibration, and we are energy. So when you think vibration and energy, think of water. It's either room temperature, then it's flowing. Below room temperature, sub-zero, then it's ice. 100 degrees and more, degrees Celsius, I don't know how much Fahrenheit that is, but anyway, boiling point, it becomes steam. So water can be flowing, it can be solid, it can be visible, it can be invisible. It's the same thing. Molecules vibrating at a different vibration. Same as you. Okay? So feel the feeling, feel the relief, feel the peace. Feel what it feels like if you imagine you got all these benefits from it that you weren't even thinking about it. All these nice little extras. Feel it. You can even journal it. Journaling is a very powerful thing, because when you write something down, you are taking something that's in your mind and you're physically turning it into a physical manifestation. You're writing it down. It's powerful when you think about it. Also, a lot of times we believe we know what we want in our mind, but if you write it out, especially if you do it repeatedly, so day after day after day, and you do this connection to source first and then you do it, over time you might realize, oh, that's not really what I want. Okay? You might say that's not really what you want. Because sometimes we think we want something, but then you realize you don't want it. Like I was visualizing that I want this really big house, and it's got like this big garden inside, and it's got this massive, massive fish tanks. I love aquariums. And one is like a koi pond, but then simultaneously, I work from home, which I love. I don't really like having sort of like, like a maid coming into my house. I like the idea of cleaning my own house. I like a space that is sort of licensed together and clean, but I don't like cleaning. You know what I mean? So I would like to be in a space where in a space of like an hour, I can sweep everything out, I can mop the floors, I can do the dishes, then I can keep everything nice and clean. That works for me. So then the other day, I walked into a home space, and it's a beautiful 2-bedroom house, and I walk into it and I just fall in love with it. And I get the feeling of what it feels like. I can see myself living here happily, ceaselessly, effortlessly. It felt like abundance to me. And when I then tapped into the feeling of what does the other house feel like, and you can do that with your feelings, use your imagination to your benefit. I realized that I wouldn't be able to clean this house in an hour, that, if I have such a big house and it's just me, I'm probably going to have people that's going to want to move in. People might expect, they want to ask me if they can have parties in my house, which is not really what I want, I will probably have to get someone apart from a maid, maybe two. I will have to get somebody to actually look after the fish tanks, because, fish tanks are a very full-time job. Or otherwise I can do it, but then I can't do my work, which I also love to do, because it makes me happy, And so when I tapped into this feeling, I realized, no, that is not what I want. Because a lot of time we've got an idea of what abundance should be. You should have the Ferrari and all those type of things. And somebody actually, made a beautiful example recently that, they took a Mustang for a drive and quickly realized that they don't really want a Mustang because it takes a lot of fuel. It is a lot of money. So you want to play around like that. But okay, so now you're in this peaceful state and you download this feeling of what it feels like. Then you go and take those different options. So for example, in my case, there's the really, really big house, and then there is a smaller place which fulfills in all my needs because I like comfort. You know, the chances of me throwing a massive party at my house is about 0.01%. You know, I like coaching. I love teaching. I'm very passionate about it. I love teaching in person, but then I also like teaching smaller groups. You know, there's a lawn at the back. I like to do like guided sessions and stuff with crystal grids and things like that, but also only for about 8 people. So I've got all of that available in this space. You know, I can have my Theta Healing and Reiki massage room, you know, over there, and it's an extra room, and I can close the door. So I can have my work, and it doesn't sort of like overlap into my life. So when I tap into the two feelings, what sits well with me, and this is the answer that you're looking for. What is giving you a sense of peace? What is feeling effortless? Okay? That is the feeling of abundance. What is abundance to you? That is something, if you're not clear on that, you want to really sit in this peaceful feeling and imagine that you can download the feeling of abundance. What does it feel like? Because it's not the flashy car, you know, and the massive mansion, you know, and all those type of things for everybody. If it's that for you, there's nothing wrong with that. Not at all. Okay? But sometimes we really want to ask ourselves, is this what I wanted, or have I been conditioned to believe that this is what I wanted? You know, in my Theta Healing coaching, the founder of Theta Healing, Vina Stable, who's an amazing person. I haven't met her in person, but she's really incredible. I've seen some of her video, and obviously I'm taking the coaching with my incredible coach, which is a link for in the description. Exceptional coach, highly recommend it. She tells a story that you know, one of the students, and I think it's in, if I remember correctly, I made a video today also about Theta Healing, digging for beliefs. It's called Dig Deeper, and there's a video on that in the playlist, Theta Healing. You can check it out. That she tells a story that a student, so you, when you do this envisioning work, you know, and I'm sharing it with you, and it's in the books as well, so you can go check it out, that the student wanted a big white house by the ocean. That's what you wanted. Okay, so now you go and search your mind. So same thing as this practice. So now you go and search your mind. Say to yourself, okay, a big white house by the ocean sounds idyllic, but then it's probably going to get dirty if it's by the ocean. Who's going to clean it? Now your mind starts going in a different direction. Okay, it's not white anymore. You know, if you get this really nice house, this really big house, this palatial sort of mansion-y place, then people are probably going to want to move in. Are you okay with that? You know? So you want to ask yourself those questions, those clarifying questions. Is this really what I want? Yes, if you want the Ferrari or the Mustang, I mean, by all means, you know, go for gold. But in the same token, when you think about it, are you okay with the fact that some people might be critical? They may say, like, look at you wasting your money. There's so many people that need help and support. If it doesn't bother you, that's cool, Jazz, no worries. All right? But, you know, somebody in your family might say, or your close friends, like, I'm just struggling to put my child through school. I would imagine that you'd rather help me with that. Or people might not like you anymore. They may think that you are a show-off, like you are a braggart. You know? Are you prepared to spend all that money on fuel? You become a bigger, you know, risk for somebody to try and hijack you. Your insurance is going to cost more. Your maintenance plan is going to cost more. If you thought about all of those things, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to discourage you from getting what you want to get. If you want to get what you want to get, by all means, the universe is abundant. All right? But when you are in that space, this is the second part I want to give you. So, I want you to think of a decision that you made in your life. And this is where the penny drops. So this is what Nianell gave us in this coaching. So I want you to think of a time in your life when you made a decision that was a very good decision. Doesn't matter what it is. It was a very good decision. You decided to buy a cat. Whatever. You know? It turned out to be a very good decision. I want you to think of it. And then I want you to think of a decision that you made in your life that was a really bad decision. It turned out really, really bad. Like grossly so, you know? And then think to yourself, when you made the decision that turned out well, did you have to overcome a fear in the future or in the present tense? And with a bad decision, before you made the choice, wasn't there a little voice in your head that said, maybe not the best decision? That was your intuition. Everybody has intuition. Everybody's psychic. It's like a muscle. You can develop it. You know? There is not just a select few. It's like anything in life, really. It's like singing. People have various degrees of natural talent, but you know, with some application and some skill, you can become a decent singer. You know, you might not become like the best of the best, but then the world is filled with singers that are millionaires, even billionaires, that are really not the best singers. And then you get people that have exceptional voices and they just can't make it. It's about the decision that you make. It always comes down to a decision. And the decision, it's also when, you know, it's what's more important than the decision is the vantage point that it comes from, the feeling, the belief, the point of view, the POV, you know, that it comes from. And I think even something that you can think of it like that is, does it feel like a castle or does it feel like a palace? So here's the difference. A castle is something that is created to keep everybody safe. A palace is built for comfort, for light, and for joy. So does your decision feel like a castle or does your decision feel like a palace? Very good thing to ponder. Okay? So, here's the thing. When you make the right decision, it will usually be indicative of a fear that you have to overcome in the future. Maybe at the time that you made the choice, you thought to yourself, ooh. Because typically, as human beings, we've got a tendency to go in circles over and over and over. And when you look at your own life, and when you look at history, humans do the same thing over and over and over. They call it evolution. You know? But we're learning, we're waking up. I'm happy to be on planet Earth at this particular point in time. So let's think about it. So, about a year ago, I was staying with my sister on the country, and in the space of it all, we got a dog, like a little Jack Russell. You may have seen him before. You'll see him in future videos. His name is Bruno. Very hyperactive. And when I moved, I became very attached to this dog because I'm working disembarking outside, by the way. So I became very attached to this dog, and this dog became very attached to me. And if you know anything about Jack Russells, they sort of like choose a person. It's almost like the imprint on you. And if you sort of, you know, leave them behind, they might actually get depressed and die. So a lot of times it'll happen that if the owner usually dies, a lot of times the Jack Russell they will follow very soon, you know, unless they've got a nice support system. But even you try very hard, sometimes you just can't get them back. Anyway, so this little animal became very attached to me, and I became very attached to him. So when I decided to move back to Cape Town, I decided I'm going to take this dog with me. Now, I told everybody that I'm very confident about this decision, but I'm telling you, I was not. Because I was thinking I'm moving to Cape Town, and, you know, contrary to what many people will tell you, Cape Town is not all that friendly and dog-friendly and open-hearted. It's actually very clicked. It's a beautiful place. I love it. I was originally born in Cape Town. I've been living in Cape Town for years. But just so you know, it's not this, you know, magazine sort of place that everybody makes it out to be. But then again, that is true for most places in the world. Okay, anyway, so I was saying to myself that I don't know if this is the right decision. I said, God, and I used this approach with that because I have taken some workshops with Nianell previously, and so I've already learned this technique from her, you know. And I said, okay, I hope this is the right thing, but the key is that I made this decision from love. That is the key. I made the decision from love. I made it from the best interest of all. And I first downloaded the feeling. And then I consulted within myself, almost with source. Is this the right thing to do? This is why I'm doing it. And I waited for an answer. I didn't wait for a yes. I waited for an answer that set right with me. And when I checked in within myself, take the dog with me? Yes, it felt right. Don't take the dog with me? No, it doesn't feel right. So even though, and when I'm telling you that I was nervous, I'm talking about I was not confident. I didn't know if I could pull it off. But I decided to follow my intuition, to follow love, to follow what was the rightest decision I could conceive in the highest good and the greatest perspective of all, for the highest good and the greatest benefit. So I had to overcome that fear in the future. Let me tell you something about getting a dog. And it's only I realized the other day, my spiritual team, they called Smile, they brought it to my awareness, is that when I started to look for a different place to live. So I was initially living in an apartment, and I had to take this, like Jack Russells are very hyperactive, so I had to take him for like 7-8 walks a day, because of course this is my responsibility. I can't let the dog suffer now. And it used to really annoy me, but then also I would get outside. Because I can be a little bit like a hermit. I'm a Cancerian. I can happily be indoors for 3 weeks. No worries. Happily. But then 3 weeks down the line, I only realized that I'm feeling depressed and disconnected and stuff when I'm already feeling that way. But now I was getting outside 7 to 8 times a day. So consequently, I made some friends. I got some fresh air. I would always get my best ideas and inspiration when I was outside. Early morning, I would get outside. I go for a walk for an hour. At night, when the world is quiet, I'll go out to the garden to take the dog to the garden. So I already got some benefits from this. So when you make a decision from your heart and from a point of peace, it will benefit you in bigger, better ways than you would actually imagine. Okay? And when I had to move, I was thinking, okay, I would like to move in a place where the dog can run outside, where there's grass. Jack Russells, they like to scratch. So there's a place where you can scratch. There is a place where you can play with other dogs. There is a place where I can take him for a walk and he doesn't get overwhelmed by the traffic. Subsequently, without me even thinking with that, I ended up in a space that was better for me. So when you come from love, it will always keep on giving you good. But then subsequently, when I moved, before I moved, I got this apartment and, I could just sign for it and everything. And something in my mind said to me, Adrian, this is not a good decision. But I was just I found a dog-friendly place in Cape Town, and, where am I going to find another place? So I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to make it work. So you see there, I actually came from desperation. I ignored my intuition. Now, I would imagine that somebody who is born highly intuitive and who's actually, I suppose for lack of a better word, a full-time successful or professional psychic medium would listen to the intuition. But you're just human. And that turned out to have so many challenges. But then again, there were growth opportunities, which were wonderful, but I could have learned those lessons in a way easier way. So do you see the difference in how you make the decisions? When you tap into it, does it feel like a castle or does it feel like a palace? Does it feel like it's forced and it's reinforced and it feels sort of like a little bit pushy? Or does it just feel calm and gentle and easier? That's your intuition guiding you. Which way are you going to go? All right? Let's use a different example. A client of mine at the moment needs to make a decision between staying or moving. And it's actually the client that inspired me to make this video. All right? And a lot of this is quite a decision that a lot of us need to make in life. Do you stay in the job? Do you leave the job? Do you stay in this town? Do you go to a different town? What do? You become silent. Same approach for whatever. You become silent. Tap in with source. Download the feeling of peace. Feel what it feels like, peace, and then download what it would feel like. What is the feeling that you are wanting once you make the right decision? Because essentially, regardless of the details, you are looking for a feeling. You want things to feel a certain way. Because you want to make the move and the change because things are not feeling the way that you anticipated. So a good question to ask is, what was the inspiration? What was the motivation behind your action that got you into the space where you are at the moment? It only stands to reason that if you're going to take the same approach as before, you will probably have the same bad experience in a different place. You know? Think about it. Okay. So feel it and imagine when you have this feeling, okay, so if I stay, what does it feel like? And you may think that just because you want to make a move, that this is the bad one. But when you really tap into it, you say, okay, am I really unhappy about everything? Or, am I maybe just unhappy with my job? So do I maybe like my home and my friends? I just don't like my job. And if I move, what will it be like? If you really realistically place yourself in the space, especially if you moved from a space previously, why did you move? Our mind is a way of romanticizing things, You go back and forth, back and forth. I did it for years. Because you say to yourself, no, I can do this, I can do that. And you kind of fool yourself into something. So when you are realistic and honest with yourself, what are you really unhappy about? Have you maybe been happy in your job and your home and your surroundings and everything, but you maybe had a breakup? Or is it maybe that, you might just want more money? Maybe you don't need a complete break. Maybe you just need a holiday. Maybe you're just tired. Maybe you're just overwhelmed. Maybe you need a timeout. And a lot of times we have this tendency to pop in between this and this place, this job, that job, this kind of person, that kind of person. And here's something where the penny really dropped for me when I was, deciding that I want to move from Cape Town. I realized that for the last 4 years, I've been working really, really hard to place myself in a position that I can live wherever I want to live as long as I've got good internet, and good surroundings. And so I realized that I don't have to stay where I am, but I don't have to go to where I was before. I can open my mind to new possibilities. You say, source guide me. And so I ended up in a place that I would never imagined I would get out. In actual fact, it's a place where I said I would never be. But then I'm here, and I said, Spirit, guide me. And when you say, Spirit, guide me, Source, guide me, this is what I would like. This is the feeling that I would like. You take the feeling, and you send the feeling up to the Creator. You say, Creator, this is the feeling that I would like. And then you imagine that the solution is downloaded to you, into your heart, mind, and soul. And you would be surprised how your life can pan out in amazing ways. You will be surprised how helpful people will just come on board. You will be surprised how solutions just literally appear out of thin air. That's what happened with me recently. Because I came from love. I said to myself, you know what? Tried that before, it didn't work. Here's the thing. Here's something that you want to consider opening yourself to. This is what I said to myself when I was in my apartment in Cape Town. Whatever it is that brought me to this place, I am willing to leave it here. So I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to get clarity. I'm willing to get guidance. But I'm also not willing to be a victim in the whole thing. A lot of times we think in order to get a solution, you need to you have the experience of almost like eating glass. I'm not interested in that. Okay? I'm interested in a solution that serves my highest good, and then that's what you get. And remember, this is something that my Theta Healing coach Nianell emphasized in our coaching, and it's such an important thing to remember. Forgiveness is your superpower. Everything and everyone is here to teach you something, if only you want to listen. And when you come from anger and frustration and, fuck them, that sort of thing, there is not a space in which you can conceive the positive possibility that life is giving you, the potential that is being given to you right now. Because with challenges, you always have a choice. You can take the usual obvious choice, and then you get the usual obvious, result. Or you can see it as an opportunity to bring something new into your life, to bring more peace and love into your life. But if that's what you want, then that is where you can come from. It's like human beings that have been trying for years and years to fight for peace. I could never in my mind conceive it. Never. You go to war to get peace. I mean, seriously now. You know what I'm saying? And just, be willing to live in a different way. For example, when I was struggling in my business, I started an affirmation that was so powerful. And the affirmation was, I am a good investment. Because I knew that I was worthy of more, but I didn't want to charge more because I was thinking, if I charge more, what if people don't come to me and stuff like that? And I said, I'm a good investment. And not only did I start doing better in business, I started doing better in life across the board. Because people invested their time, their love, their attention, their positive focus, all those type of things into my life. All of a sudden, everybody wanted to help me. You know what I'm saying? Acknowledge your worth. Know that you are worthy of living a good life. And I want you to remind you, as I said in this last video as well, with the Theta Healing Dig Deep video. You can look at that. You can look at all the videos in the playlist, Highly recommended coaching. The soul, and it's wonderful. My coach reminded me of this. The soul the soul came here to grow. But it didn't necessarily come here to suffer. God, the creator source, doesn't need you to suffer. For what? If all already is, what are you suffering for? Those ideas were instilled by people that wanted to, to use fear. They created, they made up hell to make people be in fear, to serve them and give them money, and they can sit there like fat cats and laugh. Ha ha ha. We all come from generational conditioning, all of us. When I was in this deeper coaching, I discovered that I've got so much generational patterning inside me still that I need to work at clearing. I couldn't believe it because it's in the subconscious. But when you have knowledge, it's the potential for power. You can do something about it. Okay? So just to recap, when you need to make a decision, here's the decision, put that aside. Decision-making time is an opportunity to grow or to go back into the same hamster wheel. That's the choice. Even if you can't see it, it's okay. All right? Life is really not that complicated. As Louise had said, life is very simple. We make it very complicated, but it doesn't have to be that way. And she also said that, the thoughts you think and the words you speak determines your experience of life. And if you can get that, miracles can happen. Because a miracle, as what is that book called, that amazing book, A Course in Miracles, A Course in Miracles says that a miracle it's nothing. It is simply a confirmation that you are in alignment, you are in attunement. And the best way to be in alignment and attunement is to come from a space of love. In a space of surrender, understanding that you have a purpose on this planet. You came here for a purpose. And that purpose is not to suffer. If you really think of the ludicrousy, and for many people this is a very real thing. If you think of the ludicrousy that you have to suffer for the glory of God. I think sometimes, the entity, the being that we call God, might look at humans and say, what? If I'm already everything that is, why would I need your glory? You know what I mean? And yes, you may not like it very much when I say that, and it might trigger you. And that's a good thing, because things that trigger you are opportunities to grow. Because the things that are holding you back will trigger you. But if you're at peace with something, even if you don't agree with me, you don't have to agree with me. But even if you don't agree with me, if you are at peace with it, you'll be like, okay, well, that's the way he sees it, that's the way I see it. That's the way I am. People put something across and like, this is definitive truth. I'll be like, oh, that's definitive truth for you. And this is definitive truth for me. Because truth and untruth, good and evil, right and wrong, those are really the relative terms. You know what I mean? So don't compare your journey, your grief, your pain, anything to someone else. Because it's relative. And all of us have genetic patterning that is, sort of screwing us over. So a lot of times when you may have to make a choice, especially if you ran into the same thing over and over and over, maybe it's a pattern in your genetics. Now you want to, with kindness, look at your family, your parents. How does maybe what you are having now reflect in their lives? We're not trying to change them. We always want to change other people. It's about changing you. Because the thing that is bothering you, especially about your parents, you inherited that. So you are looking for what you are seeing, you are actually looking from that seed within yourself. But when we change, our whole world changes. So it's about checking in with source, tapping in with source, drawing down the feeling of peace, drawing down the unconditional love, drawing down the feeling of what it feels like when you already made the decision. Don't think details, think feeling. Already made it. Cool jazz, you did it. Congratulations. You know? Okay? Then, play in your mind. If I do this, if I do that. Take it back and forth. You can even imagine that it's a very good thing to try and be objective sometimes. So let's imagine you're looking at someone else's life. You can even imagine that you can even imagine that you take your consciousness up to source and you're looking from the edge of the universe into your life like a bubble. And you're seeing how everything plays out. You say, okay, very non-committal. So if I do this, okay, I see this, I see that, I see that, okay. If I do this and this and that, okay. I wonder if there might be another choice. And just allow yourself to wonder. You will be surprised at what comes to you. Okay? And only when you get that feeling inside that feels, yes, this feels good to me. And you will know when you get the right feeling because it will give you peace. It will be easy. You will be helpful resources. It will just be simple. You will know that then you know that you're in the right feeling, the right flow, the right decision. Okay? If all else fails, you might want to consider booking a Theta Healing session with me because I am very passionate and exceptionally good at helping people, recognize what it is that's blocking them. But that's a choice for you to make. And do not underestimate how powerful this exercise is. Okay? I wish you everything of the best, my beautiful people. From my heart, namaste, love and light. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I look forward to connecting with you on the next video.